All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to this special edition of the Taj Longino Show. Good afternoon. I'm your host, Taj Longino. My guest today, attorney Fatima Johnson. She's representing the family of Sean Reed. Sean Reed, as you know, was a young black man who was killed by Indianapolis Metro Police Department on Wednesday, May the 6th. So we're going to speak with Fatima, see what information she can give us on the case, ask some questions, and hopefully we can get the answers that the public in the city wants. So how you doing, Fatima?
I'm good. I've known you for a long time. I didn't know your last name was Longino.
Yes, Longino.
I've said Longino for like a good, I'm not going to date myself and tell you how many years, but okay, Longino. I got it.
It's Longino. You know, I'm used to it. Everybody's been saying Longino, giving me that Italian type of feel. But yeah, it's Longino. And I did not know until this case that, you went to law school and got the degree, and now you're running your own law firm. Congratulations again.
Thank you. I really don't, I try to stay out of the eye of the public. I do my stuff in court. I do my stuff kind of discreetly, but sometimes you got to stand up. So and no better time than this particular situation. So let's jump right into it. Now, tell us what the family would like the public to know about Sean Reed. Okay. Now, this first and foremost, his mother told me to make sure I tell everyone his name is Dre John. And
so where did the Sean Reed come in at then?
Sean was a nickname.
Okay.
That he gave himself. But his name is Dre John. Okay. And he was a really, really loving boy. I would say young man. Okay. Very, very silly, very playful, always happy. And that's what I've heard like repeatedly, is like the theme of him being happy. And I actually met his mother many years ago. Met him when he was young. Mm-hmm. And one of my very, very good friends is very, very good friends with his mom. So I've always known him to be very respectful, very polite, and raised very well.
Okay. He also was in the military. And you mentioned that he was very playful. And if you look at it, even though it was the video that ultimately we saw his life was ended, but he was very playful on the live as well. Very, just cracking jokes and, at a, difficult time. But it kind of goes along with what you're saying in the description of Sean.
I would say that, and I've said this before, that a lot of things happened that day. A lot of things that were very ugly. Someone was murdered. Someone was executed. No matter how you look at it, it was murder. The question that everyone has is, was the murder justified or was the murder unjustified? Mm-hmm. It's our position it was unjustified. I know I'm skipping ahead, but that goes back to that day and that video. If you look at that video, he was very playful. And he was, I said that day, Dre John was the only one telling the truth. So
let's get to it, because we want to get through the entire day of what happened, where we're at now, mm-hmm. and where we're going to go forward. So walk us through what happened on that day and how you got involved.
Well, I can't talk about everything.
Correct.
But I can tell you that there was that according to the IMPD chief, according to the deputy chief, they saw Dre John driving or speeding or almost hit a car on the way off of northbound 65 going off of 30th Street, which is a really hard exit to get off of anyway. But and they decided that in their capacity they were going to become patrol officers and pursue him. That is when things went awry. At that moment when they started to pursue him. That and no one's asking that question. Everyone jumps to the end of the day. But what about the beginning?
Yeah, correct. The beginning of the day.
There are questions about why they even did that. And did they violate his rights by doing that? And it's very, very crazy to me that the people who are going to have to answer those questions as witnesses, as material witnesses, are the people who are in charge of the investigation.
Wow.
So.
Okay. So, and how did you get involved on what you can tell us?
My very, very good friend is very, very good friends with Dimitri when his mom. And I met Dimitri. I've known Dimitri for so many years, just by virtue of living with my friend at one point and being around and everybody's tight. And my friend is like, everybody's always over her house. So I've known them for a lot of years. And most of the time when something pops off, and they know me and they know I'm a lawyer, they call me.
Okay.
I happen to have a very seasoned attorney on my team, Soiree Conte, very seasoned, a lot of experience in civil rights law, a lot of experience in other areas of law. And I talked to him about it and I was like, we cannot let this stand. And
right.
He agreed and we jumped on the case.
How many officers were directly involved with Sean Reed's shooting?
That's a very good question.
Wow, and you don't have
That's a very good question. We've been stonewalled to an extent. It's been like pulling teeth to get information about anything. And it's not, the transparent investigation we were promised is not happening.
Okay. What are the immediate demands from Sean's family?
Okay, I'm gonna go over the demands because at first, let me tell you about the initial demands that we, let me tell you about the initial requests.
Okay.
Okay. We requested to meet with the mayor and to ask him some questions, some very direct questions and specific questions about the federal involvement in this investigation and the federal oversight.
Okay.
I read the article in the Star. It's not sufficient, the detail that they went into, and it's not what I requested either. Was for an article to be in the Star. I requested to be in a room with the mayor and with anyone that was necessary to answer my questions about what federal oversight really means. What does that mean? Does that mean that when it's done, they're going to take a look at the papers after it's doctored up? What does that mean? So that was one of the initial requests. We also requested a meeting, which contrary to popular belief, contrary to what you hear in the news, contrary to what people have said, the family has not been provided with the coroner's report.
Now, what is from what you can tell us, why do you think that's happened? I gotta ask, right? I know it's an obvious thought of what you're gonna say, but I just want you to answer that. You know, why do you think that's going on right now?
The police department is here to serve and protect.
Correct.
Each other.
Oh. I thought you were getting ready. Okay.
I think that's my position on that.
Okay. As an attorney and a citizen, what was your reaction to the audio of the IMPD officer standing over Sean's deceased body stating, "Closed casket, homie"?
Let me tell you, I don't watch videos like this. I don't watch videos where they pop up and say, look at Ahmaud Arbery, look at his shooting. I don't watch videos like this because I need my mental to be together. I had to watch this video. And I watched it over and over and over and over and over because I had to hear things. I had to see things. I have to watch this video. And that part, again, was truth caught on camera. Was the attitude that everyone has been telling the public that policemen have towards people who look like me, people who look like you. And it doesn't matter what color the officer was who said it. So as a citizen, I'm infuriated, I'm mad. As an attorney, I'm not surprised.
Now, it's been reported that Sean was reckless driving, had a firearm, and shot at police, which led to his death. Now, without going into specifics, do you have any evidence or information that proves otherwise?
I can tell you this. He didn't shoot a gun. I can't tell you everything, but I can tell. Look, come on. Okay. Houseway. Look, I can tell you. I don't even have to tell you. You've seen the video. I don't even have to. Believe your ears.
Well, you have a group of individuals who feel like Sean didn't do anything wrong. Then you have another group who feels like he had the gun on him. They're showing a screenshot or a picture of an image which looks like his gun in his pants right before the shooting. when he's running away right before he got shot. And people are leading to speculation saying, well, he had to do something because he had the gun on him. They tased him. Maybe the gun misfired when he was from the effect of being tased, etc.
Without falling into the trap of the people of going to the group or playing into the group, the hands of the group that like to vilify people who are already gone and can't stand up for themselves. I'm going to tell you that they shouldn't have been chasing him to begin with. That's when the injustice started. They shouldn't have been chasing him to begin with. And whatever he had in the car, whether it was whatever he had in the car, they didn't know what he had in the car when they was following him.
Exactly.
His tags didn't come back dirty. He was going to pick up his girlfriend from work. That's what he was going to do.
But it was reported that he was driving her vehicle. Is that correct?
It's correct.
Okay. Now,
and all of this happened because of biased policing.
Now, also, I read a report where officers were instructed to back off the chase, and another officer picked the chase up, which led to the chase and which led to the shooting. Is that correct?
I would say that sounds very correct to me, and again, some of the information that we're getting is tainted because the witnesses are also the investigators. How that happened, but there are very specific instructions about how police are supposed to act. There's police protocol that they're supposed to follow, and regardless of, I can tell you that it was not followed that day.
So not following the police protocol led to the events and led to Miss Sean's death.
I would say that the police protocol needs to be changed anyway.
Right.
Because it's kind of crazy. You can go online and look at it. It's very, very crazy. But the police protocol that's even in place was not followed. So people expect lawfulness out of citizens, right?
Correct.
They expect citizens to do what? To follow rules.
Follow rules.
They take issue with this baby that was killed in the street because they say he wasn't following rules. If you have a lawless police department, you're going to have a lawless people.
Correct. Now, recently, IMPD said that as of July, all IMPD officers will have body cam. Is this direct result of Sean's shooting?
Come on now.
Now, this report came out, within a week of the shooting.
They would have you believe that this was in the works before, and it was in the works, year after year after year after year in the works. But I can tell you that body cams are not what's going to solve this issue, because they had a pilot body cam program, and they've refused to release video from police shootings that were happening when they were doing pilot body cams. There's departments with body cams, and they turn the audio off, they turn the video off. So it's a heart condition. I keep saying it's a heart condition when you have people who are callous enough to say what that officer said and walk over the body of their victim. What's the body camera going to do?
Which makes it sound almost personal.
It sounds personal. It sounds like, and it's really personal to the people who have had experiences that align with what they saw.
Now, on Michigan Road, there's 1,000 people out there every day on Michigan Road. The traffic is crazy. So anything that happens on Michigan Road, everybody's going to see it. Excuse me. There's a camera pointed at the library, correct? Which looks like I saw a physically, and I was there when we was all outside, that's pointed in that direction. Is that footage available for you? Have you been able to see that footage? And why hasn't that footage been mentioned in news reports along with everything else?
I can tell you it's been very slow going to get footage from all of the places. There's several cameras there. Okay. It's been very slow going, and mostly because of COVID and the library wasn't open at first. But I can also tell you that there's other videos. There's other videos that people gave us there's a video that someone gave us, and they said, well, you can't really see everything that's going on, but you can see a car in the lot, and maybe they saw what's going on, and maybe you can make out the plate number. I tried to give this to the police. They didn't want it.
They're supposed to follow up on any leads, correct? On any information that will give them answers to the questions of the investigation, right?
You know, if there's one thing that going to law school will teach you, is how unjust this process of the justice system is. That's why I can't watch the videos, Taj. I can't watch the videos because I'm already mad.
Yeah. And everybody, the whole entire city is upset. This is not the first time. And this actually leads me to my next question. Since the death of Sean Reed, there's been multiple accounts of misconduct by IMPD officers. Do you think there's enough political and public pressure to make the chief of police resign?
If I, as a boss, if I, as the head, cannot control the neck, if I, as the head, cannot control the neck, cannot control the shoulders, cannot control the rest, then it might be time for a new head, huh?
Agreed.
Sure.
Has IMPD, and you pretty much answered this, but I want to ask this anyway. Has IMPD, the mayor, or the state's attorney been cooperative in your various requests for information?
If they had been, I probably wouldn't be here. I'd probably be going through it right now. No one has been cooperative. I would say this. I would say that the prosecutor initiated the request for the special prosecutor. He did that before we even asked for it. He did that. And but I'm not going to give props to anybody for doing what they are supposed to be doing. That's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah. So
do your job.
What steps are you taking to get the information that's being withheld from you?
Well, that's where you come in. You come in.
Yeah.
First of all, there's been unprecedented silence about this injustice. Unprecedented. And I will say this, I'll say this in the words of Martin. Okay? And I'm going to get it wrong because I haven't looked at it in a while. But we will not only remember the evil deeds, the actions, the injustices of our enemies. This is really not a direct quote. I'm jacking it. But we will always remember the silence of our friends. The car that was parked, when he parked the car, Ace Lock and Key, that's District 8. Across the street, that's District 7. Where he lived, that's District 4. Where are the members of the city council that are standing up and saying that this will not happen in their district? Where they at? Why are they quiet?
So now that leads me to this, so have you or the family heard from Congressman Andre Carson?
I haven't heard from him.
Okay.
I don't believe they have heard from him. I did see that he tweeted about this incident.
I saw the tweet.
And I would say that he's probably the only one who actually acknowledged this young man by his name. The only one of our politicians. Hey, it's almost time to vote, isn't it? This is why local politics are important. And this is a movement that will be spearheaded by the youth. This is a movement. And when they tell you that they don't care about you, get them out of office. You can't work for me.
Correct.
Because we got murderers on our payroll. They take your taxes, they take that check, that money out that check, don't they? And they're taking it to pay murderers. So get them out. If they're not going to stand with you, get them out your way.
Now, following that up, I know some people don't believe, have their own thoughts and views about voting. Mm-hmm. And you just spoke on that briefly. Kind of let the youth know why it's really important and how it plays effect and how they live each and every day, and the laws that are created, the legislation that's put in place for them that affect their lives each and every day.
Ditto.
Well, hey.
You did a good job. It's really important, and you know, it's not like I said. It goes back to a heart condition too. You deserve to have people who are representative of you, are what you are, a representative of you. Now, when they make promises that they're going to represent you, you deserve to hold them accountable for what they've said and what they've done and what they haven't done. I will say that local politics are very important, maybe even more important than national politics. Although, please vote, y'all. don't miss that election either. It's a mess, but it's very, very important that you do. Look at all the things that people sacrificed. Look at the sacrifices that were made just so you could do that. Yep. Do it anyway. You don't believe? Do it anyway. People died so you could do it.
You're doing it correct. Now, from my understanding, the officer that made the comment about Sean was suspended. What's the status of the current status of the officer who shot Sean? Because I was told it was two different officers. Is that correct?
First, what is the suspension going to do? What is the suspension going to do? Let me. I work for myself, but let somebody, one of my people, say something that crazy, and they said it for the public to hear. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even if he didn't say for the public to hear. That's how you feel, huh? About the people who you're supposed to be out here protecting. That's how you feel, huh? There's no suspension. He needs to be off the force.
Now, so what is the current status of both officers?
The wall of silence is up. The wall is up. When we break it down, we'll let you know. But they have not released the name of. Have you heard the name of the shooter?
Neither one.
Have you heard the name of the shooter?
The name of the shooter. The name of the officer who made the statement. At first, when they put his picture and his name up, actually, I can't remember if they did. I saw it on Facebook, but they were saying he was the same officer. Then it came out it was two different officers. So we're in the wind.
Right. I believe it was two different officers, but I also believe that there's enough. We got enough time to get rid of both.
They haven't even given you that much. So you don't even know.
They put me in a room with somebody, which I'm not sitting down in a room anymore. And then when I said initial requests, it's because I don't have any requests anymore. I got demands. You're gonna give me what I want. I can get it. You're gonna give me what I want. We could do it nice, or we could do it another way. But they put me in a room with somebody who said, "I'm not here to answer any questions about the investigation." Well, peace.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
So what are you here for?
Goodbye. What are we here for? And it's patronizing, it's condescending, and they gonna know me.
So this is why you need the public's help.
This is why I need the public's help. And we are, and I want you, if you're willing to help, if you're able to help, please contact us. I want you to help. I also want people who were, before I give you the information for that, because I know you want to help, and really it's a movement, and I don't want you to get tired. And okay, I'm gonna tell you first about the witnesses. Okay. Is that okay?
Yeah, because I was going to ask about that.
Okay.
I was going to ask that.
I'm gonna tell you first. Then I'm gonna wait for that. I'll be a good guest. But I'm gonna tell you first about how this is set up so you don't get involved. Okay. So in the 1960s, there was what they called a crisis in democracy. Too many people worried about what was happening to too many people. A crisis in democracy. So the government, our government, which is really consistent with how our government has been since the jump. We're a violent nation. A nation who doesn't. We the people is a fairy tale that they've given us, right? Anyway, they conspired with corporations to make sure that people would work more hours. Right? They brainwashed people with the thought that you should be working all the time. You should be working all the time. I got double overtime, triple overtime. And they didn't adjust the pay. They lowered the pay. The rate of pay has never kept in line with the rate of inflation.
Correct.
And they do that for a specific reason. It's not only because they cheap. They cheap. It's not only because they greedy too. But it's because you will be too tired at the end of your day
to worry about
anything else that's going on. And I'm telling you, if if you don't work through that tired, there's rest on the other end of this. If you don't work through that tired and get involved in this, if you don't, then this, I mean, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting till this is your son? Your brother? Because he was a son and he was a brother.
Correct. And this is where I had an issue myself. As soon as the video came out, because we know what happens, right? When this type of incident happens, they start to muddy up the name of the victim. Yes. So people can turn away from what happened and focused on what the narrative that they pushed out. So as soon as this video comes out of him shooting out the window on a whole different day, it wasn't right, it was totally wrong, but on a whole different day, at night, the incident happened during the day, I saw people turn on this young man quick. Like it went from, I can't believe you shot him, to, oh, this type, you know, they tried to make him out to be the worst person walking the street.
I'm gonna go Bible on you for just a second. And if you don't believe in it, it's okay, because it has some lessons for you. A house divided amongst itself is a house that cannot stand. Y'all remember that. A house divided amongst itself is a house that cannot stand. That means that if we are not united in this, that we will be going through this same thing 60 years from now. How long is it going to take? You waiting for the victim that's pretty enough, that's clean enough, that's good enough? The victim like who? Like your family member? That's who you waiting for it to happen to? If it happens to them, then it's cool. Then we can fight. The fight is now.
Now, besides, and I'm pretty sure you ain't ever answered this, but I'm just going through these. You know, besides not providing you critical information, what other tactics are the city and state using to stall this investigation?
Stall is the right word. Stall is the right word. Let me tell you about, and I don't know if anyone else has experienced this, but let me go back. Let me tell you about just trying to get a second autopsy done in the state of Indiana. And I called so many people, and I'm like, hey, hi. You know, I use my phone voice and everything. They was tripping. I called everyone, and I'm like, hey, need a second autopsy. Need a second autopsy. Can you do it? Oh, we do second autopsies. Okay, so police action shooting. We can't do it. We don't know you.
Wow.
That's the transparency that's available to you in this.
And this
city.
was the entire state of Indiana.
Let me tell you, we didn't leave anybody out. We did leave some people out because there's some counties that I'm cool anyway. I know they were gonna say no. I didn't even have to call. But we tried Indiana. We reached out to an autopsy referral service. He's like, I don't know, I've never seen such. He reached out to people in Chicago. They wouldn't do it. The only person that would help us, that would guide us, that would direct us, that would work with us was someone in Louisville, the same forensic pathologist that just finished the autopsy for Breonna Taylor in Louisville, the same one. So,
okay. So you finally got it done. You got it done, and now you're waiting on results.
Well, that's all I can say about that.
Okay. All right. Now, Reverend Al Sharpton mentioned on social media that he's been in contact with Sean's mother. Has he offered any advice or resources?
Reverend Al Sharpton, Reverend Toon, and Ben Crump was on the call too, and they all called her the next day too. They were very, very gracious in offering their condolences first, and letting her know that they are standing with her as well. And Reverend Sharpton said that he offered to cover any funeral expenses, and so I'm just thankful that people are still here to support her. Let me tell you about his mom a little bit, because I have to stop right here, because she's a walking even before this, she's a walking living testimony of the fortitude of the Black woman. I'm telling you, she is like ridiculously strong, but not hard, right?
Okay.
She's worked as a nurse for 20 years. She's worked as a nurse, and if you work in a service industry where you have you have a variety of people. She works in the cancer center at Methodist. Okay. And if you worked in an area like that, you work with people who don't like you, You work with people who, if you look like us, you work with people who like, don't touch me. I don't want, and she still sat with them and held their hand while they breathed their last breath. That's the kind of woman this is. That y'all don't care if she's experiencing pain. She did all of that. And she is now the victim as well. She is now vilified as well. How is she to go back to work? How is she supposed to be? How's she supposed to function? Yeah. It's just bad all the way around.
I this might be a crazy question, but how is she holding up? How is she really doing?
This is not only a case about injustice. This is a case about motherhood, and this is a case about protecting that, protecting the children of mothers. And she is heartbroken, and she's keeping it together because she has to, but she's heartbroken.
Now, you spoke when you said Al Sharpton has reached out, but why hasn't this case made national headlines like other several police killings across the country?
This is why I'm telling you guys too, don't get tired of making noise. If you look at Ahmaud Arbery's case, it took a few months before people were started getting active and people started actually doing things about it. And it's also a movement led by youth who live there. And I just this morning got off the phone with a colleague of mine, I hope he's watching, who is from that very town where this happened. And he told me specifically that people are very scared to speak up and say things because they don't want to bite the hand that butters their bread. And therefore it's become a movement of the youth because they don't care.
Yeah.
They are tired. And this is the future. If this is what you've decided to live with, that's on you. But they have a future to look forward to. And you have an obligation to get involved to make sure that that future is secure for them. And you have an obligation to secure your own future as well. So this is not anything to get tired about, to lose interest about.
And that was one of the things that I posted about that, and I've noticed it kind of died down. I said, you can't let it die down because that's what they want. That's why they stalling. Yep. So we got to keep his name alive until this thing is saw all the way through.
Yes. Say his name, and say his name because his name is important. It's important that you say his name. It's important that he's remembered. He existed. He was here. It's important that he's remembered.
Have you requested an investigation about the Department of Justice? I gotta ask. You just keep giving these looks. I gotta ask. You know, this is the stuff that we need to get. We gotta. You
told me this is live too, and I've been trying to get my faces together. Yeah. The person who needs to request the investigation requested the oversight and needs to ramp up and request that they take it over is really and truly the mayor. Okay. And it still has to be approved by the Department of Justice. And
so it's a strenuous process.
It's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process that could have been done. I don't want to say wait. I'm not tired of waiting. I'm not gonna tell you wait. But it's a process. Tag the mayor. Let him know how you feel about it. Go ahead. Tag him. Also, the ACLU has just released a letter to the Department of Justice. They just sent a letter to the Department of Justice. 241 organizations signed on, asking for an independent investigation in this very case. So we all see what's going on, and it's just, if I was fighting for my job, if I was fighting for my job, then it would come out in my favor. If I was fighting for my job. And that's just the reason why this investigation needs to come out of the hands of IMPD.
What role, if any, has Governor Holcomb played in this case?
None.
Oh, wow.
Wow. at him too.
He's live every day.
Yeah.
He's not said one word. He's not called.
We should go ask him some stuff, right? Let's go ask him.
Now, black people are being killed by police officers at an alarming rate. We know this across the country. What advice would you give us on how to conduct ourselves when being approached by a police officer?
Survive the interaction, please. Survive. Survive, and then after it's over, don't forget. Remember that badge number. Remember the time. Remember everything you can, and then go talk to a lawyer. And don't go talk to any lawyer, because there's some lawyers who know. There's a lot of black lawyers in this town.
Yes.
Have you heard them talking about this?
No.
Oh. So don't go talk to any lawyer. I want you to talk to a lawyer who's not scared. I want you to talk to a lawyer who's not scared.
Remember, we spoke about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spoke about that.
Yeah. People, they comfortable. They're comfortable. And there's no way that you can say, that you can espouse these virtues. And you can say that you, and you should say, because you got to write an essay to get into law school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to help people. I want to change the world, and then they forget because they got a cushy job, or they get comfortable, they get complacent. Yeah. They don't usually make partner, but they get comfortable.
But I want to know. My next question is this. And I was just thinking about this. Has the officer or officers who were directly involved in that shooting, have they even said I'm sorry or apologized, even if they consider themselves right? Even if they think it was a justified shooting. Have they offered any words to the family at all?
I will tell you that I'm going to say the chief of police called the mother of Dre John the day after this happened. And actually, he didn't call. It was set up by somebody else. Strike that. He didn't call. It was set up by somebody else. They got him on a three-way. And if I tell you, I'll tell you, we got time.
Yeah, we got plenty of time. Yeah, we ain't going nowhere.
He said to her, first of all, and this is me mimicking him. First of all, condolences on your son. Oh. Like that. Condolences on the loss of your son. And
not his name, but your son.
Yes, but let me tell you, first of all, condolences on the loss of your son. Condolences on the taking. This isn't a law. This is a taking. Condolences on the loss of your son. Is there anything you want me to tell? Is there anything you want to tell me about him? Because he had a press conference scheduled, so he had to go find something. She said, she kind of told him, like, hey, I know what there's nothing I want to tell you, because I know you're about to make a villain out of him. You're about to villainize him. Mm-hmm. And he did use that word in the press conference. We're not out here to villainize anyone, but what happened? So then she proceeded to ask, how does a traffic stop end up with my baby dead? And he told her, now I want you to get this right when y'all writing him, right? He told her, well, ma'am, did you know your son had a gun? That's what he said. Let's talk about guns for a second, though. Let's talk about guns. Let's talk about guns. We don't even have to go far into the Constitution. Let's just stop at the Second Amendment, when you have a right to bear arms.
Mm-hmm. And in the state of Indiana, it's not illegal for you to have a weapon, only if you don't have the concealed carry. And
I heard this, that people have said that is this the hill we're going to die on? We're not going to die on this hill because this young man decided to exercise his Second Amendment right. This is not the hill. This is not the hill we're going to die on. I refuse to die on this hill. This is the mountain we're going to die on.
Because if people don't understand this, if you're making a case online in these conversations where, oh, he had a gun, well, a lot of us got guns.
33% of people in Indiana have guns.
Got guns. So what does that mean? Because we all got guns, we deserve to get gunned down by the police
Don't
department?
y'all want us to have guns? Ain't there gun shows all the time at the fairgrounds?
Yep.
Don't you want us to have guns? I thought this was
Gun sales have actually gone up tremendously.
Yes, bullets are very expensive, I hear.
Yes, and hard to find.
Yes.
So now I want to get into the eyewitness and individuals. Now, like I said earlier, Michigan Road, there's 1,000 people out there every day. I don't even know how you do a high-speed chase on Michigan Road on any given time of the day, because you're lucky to get a block going over 50. So without running into another car on both sides of the street. So if any eyewitnesses or individuals that has additional information about Sean's death, where can they contact you?
First of all, I want to say that I understand why witnesses are afraid. I do understand, because the police protocol, which needs to be overhauled, says that witnesses can be detained. And that's a scary thing. Yeah. That's in there. That's in there. And I'm sure everyone in the city council knows it's in there too. So anyway, if you are a witness, if you saw something and you're afraid to say anything, please call the law firm of Fatima Johnson, 317-455-6829. And I will get you 1 lawyer, 2 lawyers, 3 lawyers, however many lawyers you want to sit with you. You will not be by yourself. We will get as many lawyers as you want to sit, as you need to feel comfortable enough to tell your story. Because the story is already going to come out. You saw the video. You saw that somebody went live right after this happened.
Correct.
People were posting things right after this happened. They didn't see the Facebook Live. They had no reason to lie. I'm going to tell you this. Dre John did not shoot.
His gun did not discharge not one time.
He did not shoot at the police. And that is what the witnesses said. And if you are a witness, please reach out. And we will make sure that you are adequately represented. 317-455-6829. If you just want to find me on Facebook, look for the law firm Fatima Johnson, Vital Defender. Please, just reach out.
We'll definitely put the information out there for people to.
Because I want them to get to me before the FBI comes and knocks on their door.
Wow. Now I pretty much got through all the questions, but I want to take questions from the public. So I did compile a few. It's not many. Okay. I got a question for. Is there any questions on that other phone right there on the Instagram line? So we have one question here, and the question states: do you feel the Black community is a target to police brutality due to the lack of knowledge on laws in certain situations and not being able to hire attorneys?
I would never say that it's the person's fault who is being victimized, that they are being victimized. Yes, that's a symptom, and yes, that doesn't help. It's an aggravating factor that Black people live in poverty in this country, in this city. It's an aggravating factor that the justice system is so callous. It's an aggravating factor, but the people who are inside of the justice system, the people who are being voted in, the judges, the council members, whoever is not standing up for you, get them out.
Now we're going to read some more questions. Give me just a second here.
I can't see anything. I can't read any of your questions.
No.
I'm just talking to them.
Okay. I don't know. Let me grab this one.
I lost my glasses.
Do you think the lies that are being told in his past are what's holding witnesses and support back? I think we covered that. Any questions, guys, on Instagram, just hit the question button at the bottom of your screen and type your question in and we'll get it asked. Just a second.
I'm a fidgeter.
The those are pretty much all the questions. So now, lastly, what do you want to tell the city of Indianapolis about this case?
I love being last. First, I want you to be ready to participate in the movement that is happening. I want you to follow Indy 10 Black Lives Matter. I want you to follow the Ross Foundation, the Lions Club International. I want you to follow New Beginnings Church. I want you to follow CME Ministries. I want you to follow all these people who have jumped in to lead the charge and to make sure that Dre John's memory is not forgotten. That's what I want you to do first. Secondly, when they are asking for people to do things, I want you to move. I want you to find some time, carve some time out of your schedule. You got babies, let them help you. Because this is something they need to see. This is something they need to see. They need to see that you care about other people. Because caring about other people is really caring about them, because this injustice will fester and get bigger and bigger and bigger until it sucks all of us in. I'm tired, but I'm ready. And that's my message to the city. I'm tired, but I'm ready. So if I don't have any more requests from them. I have some demands.
What are your demands?
First of all, y'all better get a new chief of police in there. This one is not it. He is not it. He needs to go. Second of all, somebody needs to get, it needs to tell me what federal oversight means. Because, and by somebody I mean the mayor. How does this happen in this city and the mayor does not say, come on in? How does that happen? Because it's not close enough to the election? It's not far.
No, everybody can still get replaced.
So the mayor needs to make this a priority. When they tell people to be patient and to be understanding, we are out of patience. I do not understand. Help me understand how this happened.
So I want to go back. I want to go back real quick to.
Okay.
I want to go back to something important about what to do when police pull you over.
Yes.
So when the officer gets behind you,
yes,
you find. Should they find, if it's at night, right? If it's at daytime, you just pull over. If it's at night, should they find a lit area to pull over in to ensure their safety?
Especially, and you know, these were unmarked cars that first following him anyway.
Let's go. You know what? Let's go back to that. Let's go back to that. No, let's go back to that, because initially where's the footage or the dash cam footage of this so-called high-speed chase? We've seen nothing.
I know we don't have dash cams like that here. They don't want to get caught. They're not about to do that. But really, like, if you have, I know you were talking about Jordans and all of this earlier. Please take a couple dollars and camera up your cars. I'm serious. If for my nephew good thing he doesn't drive yet, but I want a camera in the front of his car. I want a camera in the back of his car. I want them to know. I want a sticker that says cameras, because people tend to conduct themselves a little differently when there's cameras that they don't have access to the footage, when they know. But I want you to survive the interaction. I do. And things can escalate very quickly. So sometimes when the professionals who are supposed to be trained to de-escalate don't de-escalate, sometimes you have to be the one. And that's ridiculous, because the lessons we have to teach our children are not the lessons that everybody has to teach their children. However, a friend of mine went through her protocol for, she's a lawyer too, for when she gets pulled over. And that is to take her ID and to put it on the dashboard and to put her hands on the wheel and just to stay. And even still, that still might not be enough. So it's not just one thing you have to do. You got to get the people out of there that feel like they're comfortable enough to do this to you.
So basically, you're answering, saying there's no particular one way to handle a traffic stop.
There's no particular one way. We've seen if you can be polite, and it's good to be polite. Mm-hmm. You can put your ID out, and that still might not be enough. But I want you to survive the interaction. I want you to read what's going on so that you can survive that interaction. So if it means that your rights are violated, if you're thinking they're pulling you over for the wrong reason, they probably are. But if you think they pulled you over for the wrong reason, then please, you go see someone after. You take their badge number and you go see them and you talk about it after. Because for some reason, Black people are not allowed to ask questions in this country, right? For some reason, we're not allowed to exercise our rights.
So let's say a situation happens, and after that situation, what's the next step they should take? You said contact somebody. Should it be an attorney? Should they go to police headquarters?
They should go to an attorney. Okay. And really, there's a citizens complaint and review process. But when I say everything's connected, everything's connected. Get your people out. Get people in office who care about this.
So the best way to fight this is just to vote the people out and get the right people in.
You have to vote. You have to show up when there's a protest against people's rights being violated. You have to make sure that you hold your people that you voted in accountable. That you have to go. Some people have to go to the city council meeting. Go. You have to make sure that you stay aware of what's going on, or they will keep doing their side deals and their front deals too. And they will not do anything that will benefit you. We can see it in the potholes in the streets. We can see it in the condition of the housing. We can see it. It's not just putting Black people in there. It's making sure that we are represented well. It's making sure that we are represented by people who care about the people on 42nd and Post.
Yeah.
Who care about the people in Brightwood. Who care about the people in DeVille. It's not just putting a Black face there. That's unacceptable. When you can't fight, they're supposed to be fighting for you. Do you feel like they are fighting for you? I'm sorry, I get mad.
No,
it's just crazy.
Ms. Johnson, there are a lot of individuals out here that wish to record what's going on. Do you know of a safe way to record, or is there even a safe way to record what's going on without the potentials of anything violent happening to oneself?
Now, this is a sword that cuts both ways. And I don't want to tell you not to record, but I want to tell you to survive the interaction too. And so there have been times when, and I will tell you that Dre John experienced that himself. When it was a traffic stop and the officer was so mad that he was being recorded that you end up with charges now, right? You end up instead of going on your way with a ticket, you end up going to jail. So I really want you to okay, this is what I want you to do, because we're going to do a workshop on it. And I don't want to answer all the questions now just because we're going to do a workshop. It's irresponsible of me to give you half of it. Vital Defender. Law firm Fatima Johnson. Follow us and wait for the workshop. And we will do that. And I'll make sure it gets done in the next couple of days. Okay. And so that we do a Facebook Live or do something so that you can see and you can have your children watch. Because really the rules change so much from time to time. They change so much, but there's no reason why you pressing record on something, because somebody needs to record it because they don't have no cameras on.
No.
There's no reason why that should end with how it ends.
So was it a true statement that they will now have body cam in come July? You with that face, man. I'm trying to keep a certain demeanor face.
let's just say that this experience was the nail in the coffin to erode any trust that a lot of us have in what people at IMPD say. What you can say means nothing compared to what you can do. And Dre John's mom went to the scene of the murder on this very day when he got murdered. She was out there because he was on Facebook Live and she knew where he was, and so she went. She is a very, very well-spoken professional woman, very measured in her tone, and calmly, I don't know how, but calmly asked for who was in charge. Who's in charge? I heard my son is out here. Who's in charge? And they fixed their mouths to tell her, eventually, because first they didn't want to speak to her. First they yelled at her. Yes. First they yelled at her. And well, they yelled at her after that, after this response too. But they told her he was on his way to the hospital.
That's not what she asked.
They never said who was in charge. Somebody said, I don't know. And then they said he was on his way to the hospital. He was never on his way to the hospital.
No.
They eventually came and told her that he was not on his way to the hospital and he was deceased. Someone at the coroner's office yelled at her. There's the police officers who yelled at her. And they bald-faced lied to her. So it's very hard to listen when somebody tells you, when they show you who they are, you believe them. You don't try to rewrite the history. You believe who they tell you that they are. So you lied to her, and now you want we to trust you in handling an investigation and to trust you when you're talking about some body cameras.
And let's talk about the trust. That was one of the questions that came from the public. How do we fix the trust between?
Why we gotta fix it? Let them fix it.
I mean, it's a group effort.
It's a group. It's a group effort.
It's
a group effort. It's the person who has their hands tied behind their back is not the person who's going to be reaching out. They need accountability. They need to learn how to follow their own rules. And I don't want to liken this to a parent-child situation. I don't. But let's just say a friend-to-friend situation. You got a friend who keep lying to you. It's your responsibility to fix that relationship, to repair that? Heck no. You fix it. We'll do our part by making sure that you are held accountable by voting people out of office who do not hold you accountable. That's what we'll do. You want to do something to repair it? That's what you do. Vote them out. Okay. They can't stand with you. Vote them out.
Is there anything that we left out? Anything that you want to add? Anything at all?
Probably, but let me see. 317?
Yes.
455-6829. Please give us a call.
You got a question? Okay. The question is, can we as black parents come together and hire our own investigator on Sean's behalf? On Trey Sean's behalf.
I'm gonna tell you, please give me a call, and I would love for people to get involved in the effort to help with there's some things that we cannot always do ourselves, and this is very much a community effort. Resources are needed, time is needed, energy is needed, and I thank you for doing everything you can to make sure that his murderers are brought to justice.
So the official word, I don't think we haven't discussed this yet, but the official word is they're looking at it as a justified shooting, correct? They're not looking to do anything about the situation. It's a justified shooting in their eyes.
When you reach the conclusion and then you have the conclusion first and then you look at stuff to try to justify the conclusion, that's not an investigation. And when you're telling people to be patient because an investigation is going to go on. But you've already made these broad statements about what happened because you already know what happened because you trust your person. You don't trust you telling us to trust your person. Don't trust our eyes. Don't trust our ears. Don't trust people who know this young man, but to trust you. I would say that they're not in a position to say anything about this investigation.
Okay.
So,
I want to thank everybody for joining us on Instagram and Facebook. Thank you, Fatima, for making time to sit with us. We wanted to make sure that people got the information and the facts, and I hope this answered a lot of questions for everybody. Let me turn this around a little bit. I hope we done a good job at getting the information to you that you like. So, again,
317-455-6829 if you have any information. I promise we will get you some lawyers. We will get you what you need so you feel comfortable enough to assist in bringing these people to justice. This cannot sit. Don't wait until it's your people. Don't wait until it's your people. Don't let it hit that close to home. 317-455-6829. Please call.
Thank you for joining us, everybody. Y'all have a great day.